Ebony left 9-year-old Felicia with the man who she had only known for less than a week and went to go get the weed. One day while walking home, Ebony was approached by a man in a white Lexus. He pulled over, began hitting on her, and asked her was she underage. At the time, Ebony was 23, so of course she said no, and they exchanged numbers and began talking. That same night, the two of them would decide to meet up with each other and they would engage in sexual activity and drugs, and it was from that very night that Ebony claims that she really fell for Granville. Now, Ebony was also close with her 9-year-old neighbor, Felicia, also known as Sugar Plum. Everyone knew her as a very talkative, very sweet, kind little girl, and she would also do a lot of different tasks for some of the older residents in her neighborhood. Ebony was so close with Felicia that Felicia's mom went as far as to make her her godmother unofficially, just due to the relationship that they had. Ebony described it as a mother-daughter relationship. One day when Ebony was at work, her manager told her that a little girl had came to see her. The little girl was actually Felicia. Now this kind of bothered Ebony because it was during school hours and this was not the first time that Felicia had popped up at her job. She called Granville to vent and even mentioned that she wanted to call child services. However, when she told Granville that she wanted to call CPS, he thought it would be a better idea to take Felicia out somewhere like McDonald's and just sit down with her and have a talk. So, when the day came for them to do so, Granville went to go pick up Ebony in his silver Lexus, only it wasn't his silver Lexus. It belonged to his girlfriend that knew nothing about Felicia or Ebony being in it. Now, everything else was going as planned. Ebony and Granville were heading to pick up Felicia. They got Felicia, and they were heading to what Ebony thought would be McDonald's, only she realized that they had passed McDonald's and they were heading towards Granville's house. When she questioned him about this, he said that his mother had cooked something there and that Felicia could just eat that. Ebony, knowing Felicia more than Granville, told him she's not going to eat somebody else's cooking and that they needed to get her something else to eat. So they decided to stop by a Checkers and grab her something quickly. Now the three of them get the food from Checkers and they are back heading towards Granville's apartment. While Felicia is in the back seat eating the food, Granville holds up a bag of MDMA for Ebony to see, gives her one to take, and she takes it. Shortly after they arrived at Granville's apartment, only it wasn't his apartment, it was his mother's. He was just staying there. And when they arrived there, his mother was not there. About 10 to 15 minutes of them being there, Granville called Ebony into the kitchen and asked her if she knew anyone that he could get weed from. Now, at the same time, the effects of the MDMA that Ebony had taken was starting to kick in, but she told him that she did know someone that she could get weed from, and after calling and verifying it with her granddad, she told him that she could go and pick it up. So Ebony grabs the keys to Granville's girlfriend's silver Lexus and tells Sugar Plum, come on, let's go. However, Granville tells her, no, I don't think it'll be smart for her to drive with you. You're going to have drugs in the car and you don't have a license. It's best if you just go ahead and get it and come back. She's fine. Ebony claims that she asked Felicia, was she okay? And Felicia said yes. So she decided that she was just going to go ahead and go to her grandfather's house and get the weed. It was 20 minutes there and 20 minutes back. So about 40 minutes total would be the time that she would be away from Felicia. With that being said, Ebony left 9-year-old Felicia with the man who she had only known for less than a week and went to go get the weed. When Ebony makes the trip to her grandfather's house and comes back to the apartment complex, she calls Granville to ask for the gate code. However, he then tells her that Felicia left the house to go to CVS to get some candy. At the same time, Ebony is trying the gate code that Granville gave her, and it's not working. So she decided that she's going to go to CVS to look for Felicia, so if she is there, she can just ride back to the apartment with her. However, when she got there, she did not see Felicia anywhere, so she comes back to the gate and is trying the same gate code, and it is not working. She's trying it again and again, and at this time, Granville is not answering the phone. By the grace of God, a little boy who lived there was able to input his code to let Ebony in the gate, and when she makes her way back to where Granville's apartment is, she notices that he was outside his apartment door, sweating and without a shirt. So Ebony walks upstairs to the apartment and she's panicking because he told her that Felicia went to CVS and when she checked, she wasn't there. So she's pacing back and forth in the apartment and she told Granville that she needed to pray and asked him if there was a closet that she could pray in. Now, Granville told her that she could go into his mother's closet. She couldn't go into his closet because it was junky. And so she could go into her closet and pray. And so that's what she did for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then she came out. Now, this part threw me for a loop when I first read about it, because after she came out of the closet, her and Granville engaged in sexual activity right there on the floor by the front door. And after doing so, Granville got Ebony to gather her things and was taking her home. Didn't say anything about Felicia being missing or the two of them to go out and look for her. Also keep in mind that the apartment that Granville stayed in was at least about 15 to 20 minutes away from where Felicia stayed. So there wasn't really anybody that Felicia could be possibly visiting or knew in that area. Now, on the drive home, Granville didn't say anything to Ebony about Felicia being missing or going to go look for her, anything. But what he did tell Ebony is that he wanted her to tell her parents or whoever else that went to go look for her that she was not alone with him and that his mother was there, because he claimed he didn't want Ebony to be looked at as a bad person. As a matter of fact, Granville decided that he was just going to change the whole story as to what happened and told Ebony that they were going to go with, she brought her to see his grandmother, and when him and Ebony were in the shower, Felicia left the apartment. And this is not only something that he wanted Ebony to hold on to, but his grandmother as well, who wasn't even there. As time goes by, police initially listed Felicia as a runaway child. A lot of people honestly didn't believe that she was missing, but being that she loved to get on her bike and go see different things, she just was somewhere around the neighborhood. However, she was not last seen in her neighborhood. She was seen 15 to 20 minutes away from her neighborhood. As time goes by, the search is upgraded. There are now dogs. There is a search team. Everyone is looking for Felicia, and 3 people are questioned: Ebony, Granville, and his grandmother. And all 3 of them hold tight to the story that he concocted. And Granville even went as far as to say he went to go look for Felicia himself. Initially, Felicia's family was very optimistic. Oh, she's going to come home. She's just around the neighborhood somewhere. Maybe she wandered off too far, but she's going to come home. That wasn't until more hours went by, and 9-year-old Felicia was still missing. And then they got a knock at the door that would change their lives forever. Less than 24 hours into the search, Felicia's naked body would be found at the beach by 3 people as it was smashing up against some rocks. Now, this information would not be released to the public automatically, and police decided that they were going to question Granville, Ebony, and his grandmother again, and once again, they held true to the story that Granville concocted. That was until Ebony was informed by police that Felicia was dead, and at that point, she decided she was no longer going to hold on to the story, but was going to tell the truth, and was arrested for her original statement being false information. The autopsy report revealed that Felicia had sustained several severe injuries before and after her death. She was beaten, essayed, and strangled by Granville. After doing so in a panic, he shoved Felicia's body in a suitcase, and it is believed that he put the suitcase in the closet, which is why he did not allow Ebony to go into his closet and pray. After he dropped Ebony off at home, he then took the suitcase from the closet to the trunk of his car and then went out to dump Felicia's body. Investigators also found that Granville's girlfriend, whose car he was using, was trying to get along the day that Felicia went missing. Granville left his girlfriend stranded at the lone place to go pick up Ebony and Felicia. In addition to this, Granville's phone records showed that a 911 call was placed around the time of Felicia's disappearance. The call only lasted a couple of seconds, and it is believed that Felicia was able to get Granville's phone and bravely tried to call 911 before the call was disconnected. The timeline shows that Felicia was most likely murdered shortly after that. Ebony, for originally lying about what happened and for providing false information to police, would receive 75 days in jail. Granville, however, was found guilty of all charges, including first-degree murder and aggravated child abuse, and in the state of Florida was sentenced to death. My condolences to the family of Felicia Williams. May she rest in peace. Let me know your thoughts on this case and any other cases that you would like for me to cover, and as always, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.